solution is called Chromatography t-shirt. So a little bit similar to tie-dye, but better. So what we're going to do here is we're going to create a t-shirt that has some colors in it, and then those colors are starting to run. Let me talk to you about the materials you would need in order to do this. Let's perform it. Let me show you how you would do this, and then at the end we'll talk about the science behind it. Okay, so materials that you need. You're going to need some sort of a t-shirt. Here I've got an older white t-shirt. So the lighter colored shirts, it's easier to see what's happening, so a white or a light shirt. You need some isopropyl alcohol. I've got right here, I've got 91%. You can use that. You can use a 70%. That will work as well. There are stronger isopropyl alcohols. You could use 95 or 99%, or ethyl alcohol, also known as ethanol, but I like to stick to 91% or weaker isopropyl alcohol. That will work. Okay, and you can buy that readily in the store. The other thing that you need is you need permanent markers. So here I've got a bunch of Sharpie permanent markers. And then in order to take the isopropyl alcohol and apply it to the shirt, I've got an eyedropper here. Okay, so that's one way that we're going to add this on. All right, so the step number one is we need to come up with some sort of a design on this shirt, and we're going to be applying these permanent markers to it. So you need something like some cardboard or some newspaper or paper or something to slide inside the t-shirt, which I've got right here, and then come up with some sort of a design. And I'm going to give you a couple of ideas for designs that you can go with. And I'll just tell you now, and I'll explain why later, is to use darker colors of this permanent ink. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a couple of dots up here. So I'm going to do 4 dots, just like that. I'm going to take this dark purple right here, and I'm going to be going with a line. I'm going to try to do a line. Okay. Okay, there we go. That's a good for a line. That'll show you what's happening. And then let's go with kind of a darker red, and we will go with a circle on this one. All right. So the reason for having the blue plastic that I slid in there, so this doesn't, the permanent ink that I'm putting on there right now doesn't bleed to the back side of the shirt. All right, so I've got a couple of dots, I've got a line, and I've got a circle, and I'll do a few different things with that. Obviously, the number of different designs and things you could go with would be, limitless. So I've got my designs on here. Now I'm going to take this out. This thing, we're done with it. I'm going to grab a bucket. That's what I didn't mention, is you need something like an ice cream bucket or a pail. You could use a 5-gallon bucket, and we're going to stretch our t-shirt over the top of this, at least where we've got the design. So I'm going to first go to the 4 dots. Okay, so I've stretched this over the top, and I'm ready to apply my isopropyl alcohol. And for this one right here, I'm going to apply the dots, let's say to the inside. So I'm just going to start applying my dots to the inside, and what we're noticing is I keep adding more and more dots. It's spreading out. So we're getting this design right now that kind of looks like a fan. And I'm going to keep adding to the inside. If I keep adding these drops to the inside, then the movement of all of the color is going to be to the outside. So it's going to keep spreading out. And the more patient you are, the more time you have, the further you can get things to go. On this video, I don't know that I have too much patience. So we'll do another maybe 15 seconds of this, and then we'll move on to another one. What would be ideal is if you did this right here and you let this sit for 5-10 minutes, give it time to keep spreading out, and then it will start to dry a little bit, and then you can move on to your next location. So I'm going to tip this up right now so that you can see kind of what this did. And when we are done and then we rinse this out, this is kind of what would be left behind. You would have like this circular looking fan that has spread out. Okay, so that's good with that one. We're going to move on to another one. So that right there was our black, but if you look at it, it kind of looks purple. We'll talk more about that a little bit later. All right, so the next one that I've got on here is just simply a line. So we'll do a couple different things with this line. One is, I'll start on one side, start putting some drops. And then I'll go to the other side and I'll start applying some drops. And you'll notice on this side of the line, it's pushing everything out in this direction. Whereas when I'm on this side, it's pushing things over on that way. So right now it kind of looks like a sine curve, which is pretty neat. And then on the last part of this, I'm just going to go right straight on the line itself. And as you would expect, I'm getting color going out 360 degrees. So pretty neat right there with our line. Again, ideally, we'd give it 5 minutes, let it completely spread and then move on. We're ready to keep going with this video though. All right, our last one here, we've got a circle. A lot of times I like to do things where you're maybe setting up a star, you know, some crosses like this, and then putting different colors and getting it all to spread out with those lines. Looks really neat. This one here, I'm just gonna drop on the outside and we're gonna try to get this circle to travel in. So I'm gonna grab some here and I'm just gonna go around the circle, throwing a dot on there, and I'll just keep traveling around the outside of this circle as we get the colors to run in. Okay, grabbing some more. Okay, so now it looks like the circle is a lot thicker. And it's closing in on itself. So you can notice we could also do things like we could do a couple of circles. We could do a smaller circle inside of a bigger circle. We can make the smaller circle blend out to the bigger one, make the bigger one blend into the smaller one. A bunch of different things we could do. We could have done this and then we could have stopped it before it got all the way to the middle like it did. So there we go. We've got several designs on our chromatography t-shirt. All right, what's the science behind this? Why is this working? How is this working? Well, the whole word chromatography, if we were talking paper chromatography, is where we are taking some mixture and we're separating it into its components. And that's what we have here with these permanent markers. Now, the really neat thing is I really like the blacks. A lot of people think, well, black, they just made that with black pigment. Chances are they used a number of different components, different colors, pigments, added them together to make black, and they can do it with a number of different colors. It doesn't have to always be the same formula. So we could run chromatography on our t-shirts with different black markers, do this, and we see different colors coming out of it. So that's actually pretty neat, pretty cool to see. So what we're doing is we're taking isopropyl alcohol, which is non-polar, and we're taking permanent marker, which is also non-polar, and we're getting the isopropyl alcohol to dissolve this ink, okay? It dissolves it. So there's this term that says like dissolves like. And when you've got things that are polar, it means it's going to dissolve something else that's polar. Take for example, and things that are non-polar and polar, they don't mix. They don't dissolve into each other. For example, if you take water, which is polar, and oil, which is non-polar, we know those don't mix. You try to stir them up and let them sit, they separate. So they don't blend into each other. They don't mix well. They don't dissolve into each other. But if you have two things that are polar, they're going to dissolve really well. Take for example water and food coloring. Okay, they dissolve well into each other. When you've got something like isopropyl alcohol and something like a permanent marker, non-polar, those are like, they're going to dissolve. And so that's what we did, is we put on here a whole bunch of non-polar marks, and then we are dissolving it with a solvent that is also non-polar. And when we do this, it's going to start to run, it's going to start to pull, and it puts us into what's called the mobile phase. And we have different parts, different pigments in here that will stop at different sections. And so right here we started to see the black pull apart into the purple, and if we let it start to go long enough, we might start to see some other colors. We might see, okay, right here it's purple, oh, a little bit further it looks like we got a little bit of yellow or a little bit of green mixed in here. Okay, so that's the neat thing, is as it pulls out into the mobile phase, the different pigments will many times deposit at different locations. So this right here, not only does it look fun, exciting, but also there's a lot of science to it.